the issue of politics and how much faith should be a part of that. In particular, how much we as people of faith should engage with politics and public issues of the public square, and what is the historical and biblical framework for that. Well, Reverend Dr Stuart Lange, of course, he is a National Director of the New Zealand Christian Network. He joins us on the program now. Stuart, kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Kia ora.
Now, this is the sort of issue, of course, which the New Zealand Christian Network engages with, and you have recently done a presentation on this topic, and hey, perhaps no spoilers to say that you're a fan of people engaging in the public square, people of faith engaging with politics. That would be a good place to start, Stuart.
Yes, it would. As Christians, I'm not party to any party. We're not politically aligned in any way, and we just feel that Christians we're a minority officially now, right, in New Zealand, but we haven't been told by the Lord to be quiet. So I think that we have a responsibility as good citizens in a democracy to speak up and to present our view, to advocate for biblical principles, but not to become captive to any particular political slant. Yeah, because I think that's a great trap. Yeah, and we see that around the world.
We've certainly seen examples of that around the world, as you say, but also in our own nation as well. But I suppose let's start with the historical framework. Now, as you say, we're officially a minority now, but it'd be fair to say that New Zealand's history, certainly its recent history in the last couple of hundred years, built upon a Christian framework?
Well, I mean, the Christian faith hugely influenced the whole British tradition and the way government was done. And so many of those principles of government are an application of Christian principles of justice and, equality and compassion. Of course, it worked out very imperfectly in a political system, right? But they're still there. And New Zealand was, in terms of at least nominal adherence, a majority Christian country until until just a few decades ago. Yeah. So in the 1950s, 80% of New Zealanders said that they were Christian at a census level, but it probably didn't mean a great deal to some of them. Yeah. But now, of course, the census is 37%. That's in 2018, and it'll be down further, presumably. And the Christian church going, the peak was actually only 30% ever. It never actually hit 30%, just under 30% in 1896. So New Zealand's Christian past shouldn't be overstated, but there nevertheless has been a dramatic change. So we're a minority. Yeah. So what should we do? Put down our heads, say nothing, and just wait till the Lord returns? But no, I don't think so. We're citizens of heaven, according to Philippians, but we're also, in 1 Peter, we're urged to be good citizens in this world. And in this world, for those Christians, it meant an evil, brutal, pagan, corrupt Roman rule. I mean, it was better than some, but it was certainly not Christian, right? And it persecuted Christians for 300 years. So we're now in a democracy, so we can actually put in our pennies worth about Christian faith and values. We've got to work out ways as to how to do that in a way that can be heard, because our society is not generally listening, though some are, but the common sort of discourse is not pro-Christian, sees us as passe, and perhaps a little bit naysayers, and I suppose no longer relevant, no longer the coming thing.
That's an important point, I suppose, in terms of other people's perceptions about what Christians believe and what they have to contribute, whether or not they're relevant to the issues that face a modern society. I suppose we need to re-demonstrate that in the public square.
Yeah, I think we need to, so there's some biblical principles here. We need to be. Our aim should not be to take over New Zealand,
Yeah.
or to coerce non-Christians into following Christian values, because that's not what their values are.
Yeah.
They just resent it. It's just so it's not even grace. It's just law,
Yeah.
and it needs to be thrown off as quickly as possible. And that's what's happening in our de-Christianizing society. So all the values about value of life and to do with marriage and gender and so on, all divorce, all these things sort of cast aside in a more secular, individualistic way of looking at things. Ask another question.
Well, no, this is good because some people would say, yes, I get that we should, but how do we engage? Because it does seem a little bit daunting.
Okay.
What
Sure.
does Scripture have to say about how we can engage?
Just to pick up that, with salt and light, being persuasive, we're advocates, we're ambassadors, advocates. We are to, our light should shine before men, we and women. We should be people of integrity.
Yeah.
We should speak the truth in love in terms of Ephesians. We should, otherwise we're just clanging gongs.
Yeah.
We should be, a passage I love is from James about the wisdom from above, which is, I could just look at what it says here, that that we are to speak with reason, and with humility, and just so here we go. The wisdom that comes from heaven is pure, peace-loving, considerate. It's full of mercy and good fruit. It's impartial and sincere.
Yeah.
And then likewise that verse which we in 1 Peter 3 verse 15, where it's applied to evangelism and to apologetics, but also applies to involving in the public sphere.
Yeah.
Where we're to give a reason for what we're to make sense. And we're actually translating in a different worldview to try and communicate to them, and it's always to be with reverence, that is, with respect, with gentleness and respect.
Yeah.
So those are sort of biblical principles of how to do it. Otherwise, clanging gongs just seen as oddities, loveless, irrelevant. What are they on about? They'll all die out in due course. No. We actually know the truth of the universe. We know the maker of the universe, and we've got nothing to be ashamed of. But we've got to realize that the people we're speaking, the sphere we're trying to speak into, doesn't get it. So we've got to work extra hard to communicate well.
And actually, maybe that's the key passage here from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, that one that always gets read at weddings, that rather than being a clanging gong that demands our rights, being able to demonstrate love in all its facets to the people and the communities that God has called us to live amongst. Maybe that will be a louder and more influential voice than some of the voices in our society. Stuart, really thank you for what you do at the New Zealand Christian Network. Encourage people to be involved with that, to subscribe to the mailing list, to be informed, and to pray for our nation as well through the network and the things that you offer there. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Okay, God bless.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.